There's a new tool that allows video editors to change camera angles in post-production. We have a brand new AI video generator with a ton of features, and we have a fun workflow for creating quick 3D characters in only a few seconds. And the AI filmmaking party is heading back to Vegas at NAB 2025. This is your AI film news of the week. Before we get going, I want to give a cowboy hat tip to the Austin AI Film Festival. It seems like a really cool event, and we're super grateful that they asked Ike from Curious Refuge to be a judge at the event. All right, let's get to the news. The first bit of news that you can use in your day-to-day workflow right now comes from FreePik. So FreePik has actually introduced an API that connects with Topaz Video to allow you to up-res your videos in the cloud. The reason why this is important is because Topaz AI was actually only available as a tool you could download on your machine, but it was also kind of intense and it really took a lot of processing power to get the most out of the tool. This integration with FreePik basically allows you to scale your video footage up to 4K using their online platform, so you don't need to download the software to your machine. Let me show you how to use it. To get started, all you have to do is go to the FreePik website. You'll find a link below this video and go ahead and click on Upscale Video. From there, you'll go to the FreePik AI suite, and I went ahead and generated this video here of this native woman riding on a horse, and the shot actually looks pretty good. And let's say that we want to upscale this video. Well, in order to do that, all you have to do is go to Video Upscale, and you can change the output resolution to 4K and click Upscale. So here's the original clip from Google VO2. You can get an idea of the resolution and the overall fidelity there. And here is the 4K version of the clip. So it may not come through entirely in YouTube, but there's just more resolution, more details. It's a much more cinematic shot. And we also have this second clip here. So here's the original video clip from Google VO2. You can see it actually is kind of out of focus. Like, it's not the best video clip from Google VO, but when we scale it up to 4K, you can see there's much more resolution here, but it didn't change the focus. So again, Topaz Video is a less destructive AI video upreser. It really takes what's there and basically improves the resolution or changes the frame rate. So it's not going to completely alter or fix a clip that is not good already, but it will give you more resolution and more fidelity. And the cool thing about this video clip here is it actually transformed that video clip from 24 frames per second to 60 frames per second. So you can see we just have a lot more of that, more like natural movement. Obviously, it's a little less cinematic, but sometimes you need to do frame rate conversions, and Topaz is a great tool for that process. FreePik also came out with the ability to train custom models on objects. I know that the community has been very excited about this feature. It's very helpful for product demonstrations, advertising, and also getting specific objects into your film projects. Let me show you how to use it. First things first, just go to the FreePik website, go to Create, and we'll click AI Image Generator. We'll go down to Object here, and you can see there's a lot of preset objects that you can select here. They all tend to be fairly generic, but we want to create a brand new object. So we'll go ahead and click the plus button here. And from here, you have the ability to adjust certain settings. We'll get to that in just a second. But let's go ahead and select one of their preset objects for now. We'll select this water bottle here. And you see that in the prompt box, it did @bottle. So basically, you're able to recall that object if you just put @ and then the name of the object. So let's say the bottle sits on a picnic bench on a nice sunny day, and we'll go ahead and generate our result. And here are the results here. We have image number 1, which it's pretty good. The color of the bottle is not right. Like, that's like a brown, whereas the original bottle, it looked a bit more like it was like beige, basically. We have the second bottle here. Again, different shade of color. The overall object shape looks right, but the color is not quite right. We have this third result here. I actually think it did a pretty good job with this one. The bottle is the same color as the original, and overall it seems like it's the same object, so pretty good job there. And then finally, we have this shot here. The color is a little bit off, so you might have to adjust that in a tool like Photoshop, but yeah, I think it did a really good job. Now, working with their presets is one thing, but it's really helpful to actually train it on your own objects. So I want to do a quick test. You can follow along with me. So first things first, we need to train our own custom LoRa. So in order to do that, go to the FreePik website, go to AI Image Generator and Objects, and we will select New Object. So from here, we will basically define what we want to train on. So for our example, I'm going to pretend like there is a specific pumpkin product that we are working on and we want to generate it again and again. So we'll name our object pumpkin, and under Add Images, you need to upload your image assets. So for our example, we have just a bunch of photos here of this very specific pumpkin. And the pumpkin, the photos were just taken in all sorts of different locations and different lighting scenarios, but basically it's just the same pumpkin again and again. You can select high quality or ultra. We'll select ultra just because we want more quality, and go ahead and click create your object. So it takes a few minutes to train that model, but now we have our pumpkin here and you can click on it in order to use it. So we have @pumpkin in the top. And let's type in a prompt. We'll say sitting on a porch, rustic cabin environment, and go ahead and click generate. So let's take a look at the results here. So we have image number 1, and you can see right off the bat, one of the tricky parts of using AI to generate image assets for advertising or product photography is the fact that AI has a really hard time at understanding scale. It didn't understand that that pumpkin was actually pretty small. So this is a large pumpkin that looks like the small pumpkin, but it just doesn't really quite understand that scale there. So it did an okay job, but not the best. We have shot number 2 here. Again, it does look like the pumpkin, but what I actually want to point out here in this shot is what is up with these like crochet lawn chairs? I'm really loving those. I don't know where you get one, but I definitely want one. And then we have shot number 3. I think that this is one of the better generations from the batch, and this image really does look very realistic. And I wanted to do another test here. So we said laying on a bed of red silk sheets. So we got a date night pumpkin here, and you can see we have a few results here that look pretty good. Now, I should note that the training data that we used to generate these pumpkin assets was basically iPhone photos, right? Like it was not cinematic, well-lit reference photography. And so the AI system is assuming that that product basically always has kind of that iPhone style lighting. So if you are wanting to train it on a product for product photography, you might want to train it on studio lighting environments. And the cool thing is inside of FreePik, you can actually train it on objects and characters and bring them into the same image. So you can have a specific person holding a specific object. In AI video generator news, there was a big acquisition this last week. xAI, which is headed up by Elon Musk, has acquired Hotshot, which is an AI video tool that does everything from text to video, along with a ton of other AI video features. I think this is a big deal because obviously larger companies are investing in AI creative tools. Obviously, you have tools like Google Veo or Sora from OpenAI. Now, xAI has a video generator. They have had a photo generator for a while. This will basically level up their ability to provide video generation directly inside of their platform. We came across a really interesting news piece this last week. Obviously, AI gaming is completely transforming the way in which we make and play video games. And one of the more immediate applications of AI in a video game came from Roblox this last week. Basically, the team at Roblox has announced the ability for users to type in a prompt and generate 3D assets that will be integrated into the game. So you can see from this demo here, we can say we want a gold helicopter, and in just a few seconds, it produces a gold helicopter. There's also another example here where they type in a futuristic racing car, and in just a few seconds, it pops up a race car. and a giant unicorn, and it pops up, so you get the idea. They also announced an API that will allow other gaming studios to integrate directly with this tool to generate objects inside of their games. Back inside of Hollywood, Stability AI has come out with Stable Virtual Camera. Basically, this new feature allows you to convert 2D images into 3D worlds. So last week, if you remember, we talked about a feature from NVIDIA that kind of does a similar thing. Long story short, all you have to do is upload an image, select the predefined path that you want the camera to go down, and it will render out the video. They have some pretty fun examples over on their gallery page. For example, we have this backyard scene, which like literally is used in every AI video demo ever. I don't know whose backyard this is, but I feel like we need to like turn it into a museum of AI because every white paper demo has this exact backyard. We have all sorts of other demonstrations here of the camera orbiting objects and panning from left to right and doing all sorts of really interesting things. Now they do have an online demo that supposedly you are able to use, but of course it's really bogged down right now, so we haven't been able to play around with it, but hopefully we'll be able to hop in and give you more information in the very near future. The cool thing about this tool is it actually creates videos up to 1,000 frames in length, so that's a pretty long, sizable video clip. And of course, there's probably quite a few applications, even outside of traditional AI filmmaking, that can be used with this tool. Going back to the world of 3D animation, the team at HunYuan has announced a new open source 3D generation model. So you don't have to pay for credits to use this model. It's open source. You can download it to your machine. Basically, this new model, which is called 3D 2.0 MV and 3D 2.0 Mini, allows you to upload multiple images of a subject and get a 3D model in return. Now, that specific feature isn't new. We've had functionalities like this in tools like Meshi up to this point, but the fact that this is open source and can be downloaded to your computer is the big innovation. Let me show you how to use this tool. So I'm using the 3D 2.0 standard version, not the mini version. There's a few more features in this version that I want to talk about. So in order to generate your character here, you need to have a character sheet. So a picture of a character from the front, from the back, and at least one of the sides. There are a lot of different ways that you could generate those image assets, but I'm actually going to keep it really simple and generate an image inside of Midjourney. So I'm going to say a character sheet of a man in black clothes wearing a denim blue jacket, front, back, and side view 3D animated character. So basically a character that's roughly inspired by what I'm wearing now. Okay, and after a few seconds, we have a ton of images here with just a bunch of different characters that we could potentially use. Obviously, some of these character sheets would not work, so it really just depends on what you're looking for. You can always go in and in-paint or remove certain objects that don't make sense. So when you find a character sheet that you like, just go ahead and click on it and go to Upscale Subtle to upscale it to just a larger file size. I have this image here, there's just more resolution, and we'll go ahead and click download. So next up, and this is an optional step, I'm going to remove the background from our character just to make it easier for the system to process the character. So I'm inside of Photoshop. I went to the crop feature to crop just the area of one of the characters. So this is our front view here. So we'll go ahead and select that. And I'll go back up here to our move tool. And when we select that, you see we have remove background. We'll go ahead and click that and the background is removed automatically. Now you can just save that as a PNG. So I've gone ahead and isolated our character from different angles here. We have back view, front view, and side view. So let's take the front view here. We'll grab it. You see there's the front section. We'll drop it there. Do the same thing for back view. And do the same thing for side view. There we go. Now there are a lot of different settings that you can select here. I'll select standard. If you want maximum resolution, you can change the decoding mode to high. I should also note that there's advanced options here where you can go in and turn up the number of steps. You can turn up the overall resolution of the object that you're going to be generating. Because I'm generating in the cloud right now, it would cost me more credits. So I'm just going to keep everything at default. And when you're ready, go ahead and click Gen Textured Shape. Okay, and after a few seconds, it gives us this 3D animated character here, and you can see that it's actually a full 3D character. Now, is the resolution screen ready? Of course not. You will have to download this asset and go in and fine tune it, but it does give you a good jumping off point. I think the fact that we're seeing so many 3D generation tools pop up is really an indicator that prompt to 3D asset and ultimately 3D world is only a few months away. Out in Hollywood, there was a really cool report that was dropped by Fabric.ai. Basically, Fabric.ai went out and surveyed the AI film studios that have popped up now to create a report that people can use to learn more about these studios and just overall industry trends. It was really cool to see our company Promise listed as the first studio in this really cool report. There's a really cool interview in there with the president of Promise, Jamie, where he talks about the studio and the Curious Refuge community. And there's some pretty interesting takeaways. So from that report, there are 65 studios that have popped up specifically focused on AI filmmaking, and 70% of those studios are bootstrapped and have 5 or fewer people. So smaller productions that are working on bigger projects. And speaking of Fabric, they are actually hosting the AI filmmaking party at NAB for 2025. If you remember back last year at NAB, we hosted the first annual AI filmmaking party. For the second annual version of the event, we're super excited to hop in as prize sponsors, where we will be giving out cash prizes to the winners of the competition. So on that note, I should say that if you want to compete in the event, you can snag your ticket over on the website. If you don't want to compete and just want to show up, that's totally fine too. Tickets are 100% free. Now, the thing that makes me really excited is the fact that while people are prompting and working on these films in the background, there's going to be BattleBot competitions going on. So if you're looking for something really fun to do in Vegas, I highly recommend coming out. It's going to be on April 6th from 6 to 9 p.m. We'll see you there. In creative direction news, there was a really cool announcement from Google Gemini 2.0 this last week, where basically you have the ability to upload an image or generate an image and then use text-based prompting to manipulate and change that original image. So the idea is the original image will remain intact. Only the thing you're prompting to change will actually change in the final result. To utilize the tool, all you have to do is go to the Google AI Studio link. You'll find a link below this video. We'll click Try Gemini and then go ahead and acknowledge that you're going to use it ethically and go ahead and click I accept. So for our example, we'll go ahead and click on the plus icon there, go to Upload Image, and we have this image of this like polar bear in the Arctic. And let's say that we actually want to add in a fiery meteor falling out of the sky. Well, let's go ahead and click on Run. And after a few seconds, it will generate the image here. And I think that's a meteor heading for Earth. It might be a meteor taking off from Earth. So like some sort of like ancient rocket ship type of thing going on here. So yeah, the original image is intact, but there also are some changes that I'm not 100% in love with. I ran the image again, and now we have the meteor heading for Earth. So it's oriented in the right direction, but the overall compositing is not great. So I don't think it did a great job. Now let's do a more practical example here. We'll go to the plus icon, go to Upload Image, and let's select this guy that's just like hanging out in the Arctic. It's a cinematic shot, more photorealistic. Go ahead and click upload. And let's say we want to add glasses to this man's face and go ahead and run. And after a few seconds, it generated this image here. Now, it did a pretty good job. I wouldn't say they look super realistic on his face. There's something a little plasticky about it. And if you look at the arm, it's actually hitting like through the middle of the guy's ear here. So unless he has a hole in the top of his ear, I don't think these glasses are physically possible, but it did a pretty good job. And I think that this is an indicator as to what the future of creative direction might be. We can do another example here. So we have this picture of this woman and we'll prompt in a nose ring and it generated this shot here. Pretty good. And we can also upload these products for, let's say, a commercial, but we want to add in some wallpaper and it generated this shot here. That's some wonky looking wallpaper, but it's pretty cool to see the products actually did stay consistent. In AI video news, there's a brand new AI video generator that was announced this last week that looks pretty cool. It's called Vase and it's from China, and some people are saying that it's even better than VO2. Let's take a look. So I should note that it's only a white paper. They say the model is coming soon, so we don't have the ability to play around with it ourselves. But the thing that makes this tool very interesting is the fact that it's launching with a ton of features. So for example, you can direct your subject to take a specific action. And you can see, yeah, he kind of gets up in a weird way, I would say, but it's cool that you can have specific control over the direction that he goes. You have the ability to do in-painting and put characters into your scene. So we have this like Zelda character riding this horse. There should be a Breath of the Wild movie, right? Like we were talking this last week, that should definitely happen. You can also introduce characters and objects together. So we have Audrey Hepburn here with this bag, and yeah, she like grabs it off the stand. Looks pretty good. We have Mona Lisa here putting on some sunglasses. And you also can introduce motion tracking information. So we have a character that's been tracked maybe with Move AI, for example, and we can add in Naruto, and basically now he's like surfing and it has all the motion tracked in there. There's also some pretty cool video rendering features. So for example, we have this hallway scene, but let's say we want to reprompt it to be like a sunset with like an overgrown environment. Well, you can do that using the tool, and looks like this, pretty good. We also have the ability to do style transfers on humans. So let's turn these dancers into meerkats here. And oh, that's a little off-putting there. We can change this panda drinking tea to a lion drinking tea, which, yeah, did a pretty good job. And you also have the ability to do video outpainting. So this is the original video. It's just really small. But after doing some outpainting here, you see we introduced the entire orchestra. So pretty good. And it's also helpful for compositing. So we can go in and motion track the painting here, and you can see it looks like this guy's painting on that easel. So pretty cool. Obviously, we'll have to test out this tool when it comes out to see if it's really as good as it's cracked up to be. But the fact that more tools are coming out just creates more competition. And ultimately, that means that us as artists, we get access to better tools for our creative storytelling. And speaking of storytelling, I should note that enrollment for our AI courses starts up next Wednesday, March 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. This is our first session where we're offering advanced AI filmmaking along with all of the other core courses at Curious Refuge. We teach everything from AI filmmaking to animation, documentary, and advertising. If you're looking to go down a new creative journey, we would love to have you. I should note that a ton of our students have landed job opportunities in the last few months. It's really cool to meet folks at events and they're like, oh my gosh, I scored this brand new project or brand new job because of the training at Curious Refuge. So if you'd like to learn with us, we would love to have you inside of the program. You can click the link below this video to learn more. We came across a really fun demo this last week where Luma basically took emojis and put them through Dream Machine and basically animated them. And it did a really funny job at animating these. I think this should be a feature inside of Apple, whether you're using emojis or stickers. It should just like automatically animate them and allow you to send them because these are just like fantastic. Back in Hollywood, there was an announcement this last week from Wonder Dynamics where they said they actually partnered up with the Russo brothers to do some motion tracking for the new movie, The Electric Slate. So the Russo brothers and their company Agbo is very bullish when it comes to integrating AI into the filmmaking pipeline. And it's actually really cool because we actually have our AI animation competition going on right now. And the head of animation at Agbo, his name's Ryan McNeely. He's actually one of the judges for the competition. If you want to submit your film to the competition, which is the first AI animation competition in history, we would love to see your submission. There have already been a ton of really great submissions, but of course, there's always room for your story. We've partnered with Promise to provide thousands of dollars in prize money, along with the opportunity to potentially pick your project up for a real world film. And the winner will have their face printed on a potato, which is, of course, the best prize. In white paper news, we came across an incredible demo that I think is going to change video editing forever. It's called Recam Master, and basically it allows you to change camera angles in post-production. So you basically can take an angle and orient your camera around to completely change it to whatever you're looking for. So there's some pretty incredible examples over on their website. For example, we have the shot from The Great Gatsby, and let's say we want to change the camera angle. Well, easy peasy, you can do that with just a few mouse clicks. We have the scene here from Friends, and you can see we literally just change the camera angle. It also understands reflections and objects, which is kind of awesome. It understands particle dynamics. So for example, we have this guy lighting a cigarette with money, and we can change the angle here, and you see it has the smoke, it has the fire. Obviously there's some work that could be done here, but it did a really good job. We can change the orientation of the classic Matrix scene, which is pretty cool. There are a lot of examples over on their website. I imagine we probably will not have access to a feature like this inside of tools like Premiere or Resolve in the near future, but hopefully, maybe by the end of the year, we'll be able to change the camera angle inside of a post-production pipeline. There are a ton of AI film events popping up around the world. There's the Atlanta AI Film Festival happening on March 22nd. On March 29th, the Curious Refuge Shanghai meetup is happening. There's also an AI Film Festival happening in Seattle on March 29th, along with a runway meetup in Berlin on the 4th of April, and the Curious Refuge Palm Beach meetup on April 7th. And that brings us to our AI films of the week. The first film that I want to shout out is called Surface. So the thing that makes this film really unique and interesting is that it's based on a true story of this fish that basically lived, deep in the ocean and explored and found his way to the top. I think William Sikora did an amazing job at prompting in emotion in the character, using sound design, and ultimately crafting a story that was very compelling. Now, I don't know how the true story ended, but I'm fairly certain that if a creature lives at the bottom of the ocean, it's actually pretty bad for them to be at the top. So I think that the sequel to this film is probably going to be pretty sad. And the next film that I want to shout out is one of my favorite AI projects I've ever seen. It's called Karen Unleashed by AI or Die. They create hilarious AI content online. It's basically a film concept about a Karen going through a training montage and just getting revenge. I think it's honestly one of the funniest AI projects I have ever seen. The filmmaking, the pacing, everything is really fantastic with this project. I should note that it does have some curse words in there, so PG-13, but I highly recommend checking it out. And the final bit of news that I'm personally very excited for is Disney is partnering with NVIDIA to create better robotics and animatronics for the droid robots inside of Star Wars at Disneyland. Long story short, the Newton model from NVIDIA will be integrated with the walk-around robots to create just unique and very custom interactions with the guests. Now, hopefully they really work out the kinks here, because that would be a very sad day at Disneyland if things went wrong, but I'm actually very excited to see what they're able to create. Okay, thank you so much for watching this episode of AI Film News. Of course, enrollment for our April session opens up on March 26th. And if you want to get AI Film News sent directly to your email inbox, you'll find a link below this video to subscribe. And as always, if you want to get more tutorials or news directly here on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. We will see you next time.